No big surprise here, but Disney has once again delayed Black Widow and shifted the release dates for some of its other movies. I break it all down next. Hey, what's up everyone? I'm Ashley and this is Ashley Talks Movies. Welcome to my channel. Big news today. Disney has once again pushed back the release of Black Widow. The movie was set to come out November 6th of this year, and it'll now move to May 7th, 2021. And they also shifted a bunch of other movies on its release calendar. So I'm going to break all that down, the new release dates for the other movies, what that means for the MCU films, and also what it means for movie theaters, which are still struggling right now. But before I get into all of that, do me a favor while I have you here, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of my videos, and also hit that notification bell so you get notified every time a new video is posted. Okay, so back to Black Widow. As I said before, this is not surprising that Disney did this. In fact, I was waiting for Disney to set a new release date for Black Widow. And so they have officially done that. May 7th, 2021 is a new release date for Black Widow. And it makes sense. I mean, they put it to summer 2021, so hopefully by that point, movie theaters will be in a better place. In terms of the pandemic, we'll be in a better place. And so that maybe people can start returning to the theaters and not be a huge issue. That's probably one of the reasons. Well, there's a number of reasons why Disney probably moved Black Widow to 2021. One, as I said before, we're in the middle of a pandemic, and people are still fearful about going to various places. Movie theaters have reopened, but they haven't reopened everywhere. So in larger markets like New York and Los Angeles and some other places, movie theaters haven't fully reopened there yet. There's no telling when they will. For the theaters that have reopened, they have not seen great ticket sales, which was evidenced by Tenet's performance in the US, box office-wise. It didn't do so hot. It did fine internationally, but internationally the theaters are in a very different place than the theaters are in the United States in terms of their reopening. So yeah, Tenet didn't do too well, and which it's a Warner Brothers film, but still nonetheless, a lot of studios were looking at Warner Brothers and Tenet as sort of the thermometer of box office and movie theater audiences, taking the temperature, like, are they ready to return? And some people aren't. Also part of the reason is, there aren't a lot of offerings right now in the movie theaters. So, and studios don't want to put their really big budgeted films in an environment where, they might not do so well, right? You have these really expensive films. People aren't really returning to theaters. The people who have returned to theaters, they return for the new movies, but there aren't a lot of new movies out. So you wait, right? And I'm pretty sure Disney looked at all that and said, yeah, we're not going to put Black Widow out right now. I know some people were calling for them to put it on Disney Plus, but Disney hasn't released the numbers for Mulan yet. So we don't know how well Mulan did or didn't do on as part of the Premier Access offering. So anyway, so Black Widow is now a summer 2021 film. So what does that mean for the other MCU films? Well, Disney has also moved Eternals. So Eternals was set to come out February 12th, 2021, and it'll now move to November 5th, 2021. And then Shang Chi moves from May 7th, which is now the Black Widow date. It moves from May 7th to July 9th, 2021. So it's still going to come out in the summer, just a few months later. And then Disney also moved a number of its other films. Most notably, it moved Death on the Nile, which I don't know if that movie was a highly anticipated movie. I was looking forward to it. I liked the trailer. But it was a bigger budget movie, and it did have a huge all-star cast. So I imagine they want, as many people in the seats to watch that as possible to recoup the money from that. And also you have big draws like Gal Gadot and others who were in that movie. So that movie moves from October 23rd of this year to December of this year. So it gives it, a lot of people are hoping that by the end of this year, things will start to look a little bit better. So some studios have shifted things to the end of this year in hopes of that. And so that's where Death of the Nile goes. And then the big one, I don't think that most people are talking about this West Side Story, Steven Spielberg directed West Side Story, moves from December of this year to December of next year. Like a whole year, it gets delayed. So that's very interesting. So clearly Disney wants this movie to do well, and it also wants to keep that holiday release time frame. So again, none of this should be surprising. Disney is doing what some other studios have done. I mean, Warner Brothers moved Wonder Woman 1984, and some of these dates could change again. I mean, like I said, we're still in the middle of a pandemic. There have been predictions that there won't be any box office movie theater recovery. It won't begin until sometime next year. So again, studios are looking at that and they're making changes. The studios, they have all these really expensive movies that they want to make, money from, and they can't just drop them all on streaming services. I've talked about this in other videos before. But the theaters are the ones that's like really hurting right now in terms of these decisions by the studios, because, they need movies to show in order to bring people into the theater so that those people can buy concession items, which is where, the movie theaters make a bulk of their money. So every time a studio delays a film to next year, every time a studio decides to put a movie on, like Disney Plus or a streaming service and bypass the theaters are hurting. And I've said this before in a previous video where I talked about, the movie theaters, they are struggling right now. And, what do they show? What do they show? If they show older movies, most people are not going to return to a theater. If they're already afraid to return to a theater because of the pandemic, they're not going to return to the theater to watch an older movie that they can watch on Netflix or Amazon or any other streaming service, right? So, yeah, this is just it. The recovery for this industry is going to be slow, I think, and things are going to change. Things are going to be fluid. Like again, these are the release dates now. Who's to say that these will stay this way? But for now, that's where it is. Oh, so one more thing before I forget. For now, Disney is keeping its Pixar Soul movie for November theatrical release. So Soul is still set to come out November 20th. That could change. I don't know. But so far, right now, it's still slated for release in theaters. We'll see. I saw like lots of chatter about it maybe going to Disney Plus, but for now, it's still slated to come out in theaters. Anyway, that's it for me. Let me know what you think about all these changes. Black Widow moving to 2021, the other MCU movies getting shifted back, Disney changing release dates for other movies. Let me know what you think about all that in the comment section below. And while you're here, like this video, share this video, and don't forget to subscribe.